So it is March 14th, 2025. This is a big moment for Hidden Landmarks Live because this is my first YouTube Live. I've been doing Hidden Landmarks Live on Facebook here in Elmira, New York for the last 7 years. I have never done a YouTube Live before, but today is the day. Good morning, Elmira. This is Eldridge Park. I'm JD Isles, and of course, this is Hidden Landmarks Live, the only live history show on YouTube. So, like I said, I've been doing this show for 7 years on Facebook. I thought I'd take a whack at YouTube, and I hope you like it. So today we are at Eldridge Park. Eldridge Park is a well-known local amusement park here in Elmira, New York. Elmira, New York, of course, is more or less in the Finger Lakes, and we're talking about getting the park ready. A lot of geese and ducks today. A lot of geese and ducks. We're talking about getting the park ready for the year. It's still early. It's still March. Opening day is going to be May 23rd. And there's going to be a ton on tap for Eldridge Park here in 2025. And if you stay until the end of the recording here, this is the Speedway roller coaster, which used to stand proudly at Eldridge Park. And if you stay until the end of the video, I will be telling you about Eldridge Park's plans to bring the Speedway back, because it hasn't been here in years. So, first, let's talk about what's coming up. Now, this is a family amusement park, extremely reasonably priced, that families from Elmira have been visiting for years. So on tap for this year, third annual Train Day will be in May. They have a first annual Flag Day, that'll be in June, of course, June 14th. Irish Day. There will be entertainment, free entertainment every weekend this year, including the return of the mermaids. The mermaids were here either last year or a few years ago, extremely popular. Now, Eldridge Park has a lake. I don't think the mermaids are actually going to go in the lake. They would need to fight with the fish and the geese and the ducks. But I do want to point out it is March and there's still ice on the lake. Let's see what else we got. Now, currently they are building a new bandstand. There are going to be concerts every Saturday and Sunday, including independent country artist Ashley Wineland is going to be here in August. There are going to be 3 car shows on Saturday. There is going to be kids karaoke every Friday night. So that is a pretty full docket for this summer. Let's get into a little bit of the history here of Eldridge Park. So, the park dates back to 1876. That was roughly 149 years ago. And at that point, the park looked very different. We did not have any of the attractions. We didn't have the carousel. We didn't have any roller coasters. We didn't have the casino, which I'll talk about in a moment. It would have looked extremely different. The lake would have still been here, but it was surrounded by willow trees. There would have been walking trails. There would have been benches. Think Central Park. And one thing Eldridge Park was very well known for is there were white statues everywhere. Andromeda, Neptune, the Maid of the Mist, and her nymphs, among many others. Now, this park, Eldridge Park, as it stood in those days, was the vision of one man, Dr. Edwin Eldridge. He was the one who founded this vision of Central Park here in Elmira, New York. And coincidentally, a fact that a lot of people don't know, he had actually established another park just like this one in Binghamton prior to establishing the park here in Elmira. The biggest attraction at that time was across the lake where the dog park is now. There was something called the casino. Now, the casino had nothing to do with gambling. The casino was a 6-story observation tower, 125 feet in height at its highest point, and you could go in and look over the park. There was a restaurant, there was an ice cream parlor, and there was a house orchestra. So that was really one of the places that you went to be seen here in Eldridge Park. Additionally, for you Mark Twain fans out there on YouTube, if you had come here on a summer Sunday in 1876, you could have gone to the Chapel Grove. The Chapel Grove, I believe, is where the amusement park is, the miniature golf course is currently. And in that Chapel Grove pulpit, you could have listened to Reverend Thomas K. Beecher give a sermon. And if you had looked over to the right and followed the cigar smoke, Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, would have been sitting there listening. Mark Twain summered here in Elmira some 20 summers because his bride was originally from Elmira, New York, and he was very good friends with the Reverend Thomas K. Beecher. Now, if we travel to more recent history, if we go to 1955, that was roughly 70 years ago, this place would have been jumping. The Speedway, of course, would have been here. That roller coaster was built in 1937. There was a kiddie coaster in Kiddieland as well. There were 2 trains you could have ridden. I love a train. There was the Santa Fe train, and there was Little Toot. The whip was whipping. Don Bittler would have been zipping around in his fun car. Flying scooters, crazy cups. The Randalls had a cotton candy and candied apple stand. A big favorite here was French fries with vinegar. And of course, the Eldridge Park Talent Parade was an annual talent show that was held every single year. Think American Idol, but without Simon Cowell. Now, this amusement park is still a very active amusement park. It is extremely reasonably priced. They have amazing rides. They have a carousel. They have the Jasper boat where you can take a scenic cruise on the lake. They have paddle boats. There's a miniature golf course. There is a snack bar. And during the summer, especially Friday and Saturday nights, this is really the place to come to enjoy a nice family outing here in Elmira. Now this year, there's the debut of something very, very neat. I mentioned that they're going to be bringing the Speedway back. The Speedway was a wooden roller coaster designed by Oscar Bittler. It operated from 1937 to 1983, 1,900 feet long, 53 feet high, and the ride lasted about 1.5 minutes. Now, they're bringing the Speedway back. However, what they're bringing back is a Speedway simulator. Here in the carousel building, in addition to an amazing carousel that I will do a story about a little later on this summer, they are building a simulation track where they will have an actual car from the Speedway, reupholstered and reappointed. you will be able to get up and sit in that car and see a simulation on the screen of what it would have looked like to ride the Speedway back when it was still operating in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I hope you have enjoyed this, my first YouTube Live. I'm gonna get used to this format. I've done Facebook for so long, I know it cold. But I want everyone to have a terrific day, and I hope to see you all next week. Bye-bye.